again. So this is a video review for Lay Reviewers June book club read, which was Seasons of Love by Harper Bliss. And for any of you that didn't see the introduction video, I filmed that at the beginning of the month, and that was around with the book club details. This is just a quick look at what the book looks like so that you can see that, and you can still check out that introduction video. If you'd like to check out my Goodreads review, I did just post that the other day, so if you are on YouTube, there is a link in the description below, and if you're on Facebook or on my blog, then there is a link within the post. And this is the video review. So I am so completely and hopelessly in love with this book. So Seasons of Love by Harper Bliss is basically a holiday. It starts as a holiday romance, and it is mostly a holiday romance that develops into something more. So Alice, she's really hardworking, and she heads off on holiday at the insistence of her business partner Miranda, who has a house, a holiday home. And Miranda is also her best friend, so she insists that she go off and have a break from work. She works too hard, and Miranda then calls Alice while she's away on this holiday to ask if it's acceptable for her daughter Joy to join Alice for just a short week before she starts a new job. And Alice isn't overly keen, but she can't really say no, so Joy turns up, and she sort of breezes in with all this confidence that leaves Alice pretty much stunned. And Joy starts to act without sort of a care in the world, and she doesn't hide the fact that she's quite attracted to Alice while she's on her holiday. And the two of them sort of embark on a bit of a holiday romance, but they know the consequences of obviously continuing this when they get back home, and what they could face. And so it's then up to them to sort of, when their feelings develop for one another, to decide if they should take the risks involved of being happy, because there are going to be consequences and fallout, and they know that. And so it then gets all that intense angsty drama of a romance, and I love it. You know when you read a book sometimes, and you're reading it and you relate to it quite a bit, but you just think, I wish this book was my life. Oh, this book is me sitting here wishing this was my life. I wish I could be like Joy. Man, she was so ballsy, like she was so confident. And if I was anything like Joy, I might actually get what I wanted in life. She's brilliant. But yes, this book did that to me. It held a few parallels for me that I could really relate to, and it sort of emotionally swept me away with those, because although I can't apply them to the same scenario, I could really relate to them, and it was really weird going back there. But I wasn't able to put this book down because I really wanted to know what was going to happen. And it's just, it had everything I could want. It was like the perfect age gap romance. It was hot, romantic, angsty. It was filled with all the drama you could want, and it's just wildly energetic in some ways as well. And I just sort of found myself really lost in the story. Joy and Alice, they really had this brilliant connection. Their relationship was lovely, and Alice's hesitance and insecurities that really made the story, because it was Alice's point of view, the whole story. It was all Alice. It was all her thoughts, all her feelings, and Joy's was sometimes put across, but not as deeply as Alice's. And I could easily put myself in her shoes, even though I've never been in her shoes. I could very easily relate and put myself in her shoes, and I understood the situation perfectly. And I could see all angles. I could see all sides, not only from Alice's, but from Joy's and from Miranda's. And I could very much put myself in each character's shoes and really feel the emotion that they were going to feel in that moment. And even though I could understand it all, I was definitely rooting for Alice and Joy's happiness, because at the end of the day, that was what mattered. And I love the subject of age gaps. They are so dividing of opinions, especially when the age gap gets bigger, and they cause a lot of complications, really, and they have effects on relationships that other relationships wouldn't. And I just love that. It's one of my things. I just love it. Age gaps, always gone to it, always been something I've loved, and it's just, I love finding it in these books. But Harper perfectly captures in this story just how difficult it can be, and what the consequences can be, and how it affects everybody emotionally. But I think the most important message of all is really that age is just a number. When you get, obviously it's just a number when you get to certain ages, but you know what I mean. It eventually just becomes a number, and when you connect with somebody, you just connect with them. It shouldn't really matter how much older they are than you, in most grown-up circumstances. And I just really love that message that, you know, Alice and Joy was like an old soul. Do you know what I mean? And some of us younger people are old souls. We were definitely born in the wrong decade. I was definitely born, but I love my decade. I'm not going to say I don't, but I do feel sometimes that I wanted to be born a different decade, and I feel so much older than people my age, and I love that feeling of that, being able to then connect with someone who was born of that generation. And I think it's great that you can have that as well, and I love that. That's just what this book was, that Alice and Joy just got each other so completely. And even though Alice had so many insecurities, Joy was like, she always had a counter argument, even though she shouldn't have had one, but she always had one, and you can always find one. You definitely can always find one. And I love that Joy was really passionate, and she knew what she wanted, and when she knew what she wanted, she went for it, and she wasn't so bothered about the consequences until they started to happen, but she still wasn't that bothered by them. She knew at the end of the day what she really wanted was to be happy, and I love that. What a lovely feeling, what a lovely sentiment. So this book was just everything. It was everything, and then so much more. And in some respects, I really hope there'll be more from Joy and Alice in the future, because I love them. But at the same time, this book was the epitome of everything, and I don't think, I would rather read this 100 times, I think, than have more from them. I'm not sure. I'm so conflicted on that, and it's something that I guess it would be down to Harper, like whether she could find a story that would be good for them. But this one just had everything that I wanted, and it's so perfect. It's like a little bubble that I'm just going to go back to again and again and again. So I really highly recommend this. I love it, especially if you love age gaps. This one, you will adore it, and it's definitely going down as one of my all-time favourite age gap romances, because I love them, and there are so many of them, but this one for me had a bit more of a personal experience that I could really connect to deeply, and so it kind of touched me, and I'm like, I want to go back and I just want to read it again right now. That's the impact that it had, and it was just such a highly emotive read, and I was crying and laughing and having a great time, and I just loved every second of it. It was brilliant. So I'll pop a link in the description so you can go and grab a copy of Seasons of Love by Harper Bliss, which I hope you will. If you've read Seasons of Love by Harper Bliss, please get involved. Comment below, let me know what you thought of it. How did you find it? What's your favourite parts? And if you read it for book club with us, then you can still join us for that discussion. The page is still there, the event's still there, so hop in and out, go and get involved over there. And if you haven't read it yet, but you're planning to read it, or you're hoping to read it, it's on your to be read list, or you now are really interested in reading it, again, it would be great to hear from you. So comment below, let us know, because it's always great to hear what you're interested in reading. And if you do read it, I really hope you love it. Bye.